Hello and welcome. My name is Tamor Kriwaczek. I'm an artist, mainly a painter, and I've decided to do a short video to tell you something about me. Now the reason for this is that I've recently rebuilt my website, and on there is a page about me. It's got my artist statement and a short biography, but it struck me that probably not a lot of people will read that. And it's a lot easier to get to know someone if you can actually just see them and see what they're like, hear what they've got to say, rather than just reading a very deliberately written piece of prose. So what I thought I'd do is tell you how I got started painting in the first place. So to do that, we have to go back in time to when I was 14 years old and the summer holidays. My mother took me to this building here. This is what is now called Tate Britain, but was then just the Tate Gallery. There's only one Tate Gallery then. And she took me there because on holiday, we had been away before this. We'd been away to, I think, a cottage somewhere, and I'd done some painting with some paints that my grandmother had given us to play with. And presumably I showed some interest. So she decided to take me to the Tate Gallery and show me some modern paintings. I'm not sure why she decided to Tate Gallery. I didn't know that she had any interest in art really. And presumably she thought the National Gallery maybe was a bit old and dusty, and where else would you take someone? Take a 40-year-old kid. So we went to the Tate Gallery and we had a look at lots of the art there. And there were two paintings in particular that caught my eye, and I want to show you what they are. The first one was this painting by Pierre Mondrian, one of his compositions. I'm not sure if this is the actual one that I saw. I'm not sure if this one is actually in the Tate's collection, but one very similar is, and that's the point. They're all pretty much the same. It's the same idea, done different ways, but you get the point. So I just grabbed this off the net for the purposes of this video. Now, when I saw this, I was perplexed. I didn't believe it, I have to say. I thought this is ridiculous because that's just some rectangles, some colours filled in. It's a design, that's what it is, and I knew it then. And to be honest, I know it now. This is a design that has been executed very well, but it is a design. And this is a very harmonious picture. It's a beautiful thing to look at. But as a 14-year-old kid, I thought this was ridiculous. I couldn't see why or how this was art. And I did what I have always done, well, from that point on to today. Whenever I see a new painting or something that I'm interested in, I want to have a really close look. Now, I was looking at this thinking, I could do this, couldn't I? I could do a painting like this. What's so good about that? It doesn't require any skill or anything. What's going on here? So I took a really, really close look, and I can show you some of what I saw. So I'm looking here, and you can just see that this line, this brush stroke, I don't think it's a single brush stroke, or not freehand brush stroke anyway, it's painted over the top of this one here. And it's just so kind of precisely done. I mean, not all the edges are perfect, but it's so neat. It's so well choreographed. And I thought, well, if I come up with a design, with an idea, I can do this. And I was looking at the corners like there and some of the straight lines and just thinking, well, is he just used some masking or something? Masking, or maybe a stencil? I was not impressed. And the niceties of composition really passed me by. I was not interested in that. I wanted to see some painting. I wanted to see some painting of stuff, of things. So at least I had some reference, from my life, from real things around me, whereby I could tell whether or not what I was looking at was any good or not. This painting didn't do it for me. I thought it was ridiculous. And I went home and I did my own version, of course, as you would do. But I just want one thing that I noticed again while looking at this picture is I don't like this bit here. Look, I just find that the black there that is kind of filled in over the top, it just sticks out to me. Don't like that. So the rest of it though, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful design, but in the end, it is a design. I don't care what anyone else says. Art critics can shout me down all they like. This is a design. It's a beautiful design, but it is a design, and it doesn't really go any further than that. There's no great depth to this as a work of art. What you see is what you get. That's it. Doesn't go any further. If you like that kind of thing, that's fine. I was looking for something more. So the next painting we went to have a look at was this one, Dali's, Salvador Dali's Metamorphosis of Narcissus. Now this, I thought, was fantastic. I'd never seen anything like it because it creates a whole universe. It's just an amazing thing to look at. It's a real feast for the eyes, this one. Now, I did exactly the same thing as I did with the Mondrian. The first thing I wanted to do was have a really good close-up look to see if I could tell how it was done, because maybe if I could see how he did it, maybe I could do that as well. Just like the Mondrian, I knew I could go home and do my own Mondrian. Might not be as good, but that's not the point. I could do the the techniques of creating the painting. This though, I really didn't know, and I noticed some of the things which you can't really see, unfortunately, on this image, which isn't as high a resolution as I would like to show you. But if you get a chance to see the real thing, you'll know that there are tiny, tiny little legs on these ants that are presumably painted with maybe like a single hair brush or something like that. And I especially love all the blending of the colours. Colours everywhere just blended so beautifully, like all over this hand. This is just like amazing stuff to me. And the sky, I love the way Dali's done his skies. And then this high contrast flower here, which is just a lovely thing to look at. Now, Narcissus meant nothing to me then. I had no idea who Narcissus was. Now, of course, I can see, but then I could see the hand going on here, holding the egg with the flower, and then Narcissus with the head and the hair. And there's another third little kind of egghead guy right at the back there. And I just thought this is like just a whole universe to step into. It's a beautiful thing. I just absolutely loved it. And of course, after this day at the Tate Gallery, I went home. I first did my Mondrian. Then I did a couple of Dalis, as you would, and why not? So, I couldn't really tell how I'd done a lot of it, but I had an idea, and I could try and, blend paint together to get a very simple landscape to try and make it look kind of Dali-esque, and have a couple of ideas to try and create this kind of weird surrealist world, which I'd never come across before. So that to me was quite amazing. Now from that point on, from when I first painted that Mondrian that I did, I never stopped painting. So I was 14 years old, there was the summer holidays, never stopped painting from that point on. Now my parents had obviously taken note of this, and getting on towards Christmas, my father had shown me an article in a newspaper about an exhibition by a guy called Frank Auerbach, who of course I'd never heard of. And I hadn't heard of many artists at that point. There's one photograph in it, a painting, and I'd never seen anything like that before. That's not so strange, because there's an awful lot of paintings that I'd never seen anything like before. But this was like, there's loads of paint going on here, and I thought, wow, that's quite interesting. I quite like that. I didn't know you could do that with paint. Almost like didn't know it was allowed. Now, shortly after that, maybe just a week or two later, I had the chance to go to some lectures, some science lectures in London. The Royal Institution, which is at the end of Albemarle Street in Piccadilly. It's a very famous old institution. Many of the world's most famous scientists over the last couple of centuries have been members of it. They give free lectures. They're called the Christmas lectures. Free lectures to school children every year. They still do it. And I was of the right age, and I got my free tickets from school. Went down there with a couple of friends, particularly Circus Station. Walked down the road past the Royal Academy, turned right up Albemarle Street. And as we walked up, we passed a commercial gallery called Marlborough Fine Art. Now, there was a painting in the window there that really reminded me of that painting my dad has shown me in the article in the newspaper. I thought, wow, and having a look, I said, yeah, this is the exhibition. This is the Frank Auerbach exhibition. Now, I couldn't go to it then, it was closed. But a few days later, or the following weekend or something, I went down with my friend to see it. And there are two things that struck me, not only about the painting, but about going to this gallery. One was, I had no idea where you bought paintings. It hadn't crossed my mind that you can actually go and buy art anyway. I hadn't thought of being an artist. I was, you know, I was painting. That's what I was doing. I was meant to be painting, so I was painting. You know, it didn't cross my mind that there was anything about art going on or anything else. So I didn't know you could actually buy paintings anywhere. And so the idea that there are these commercial galleries where you could buy paintings was quite a revelation. And the second thing was that you could actually go in these commercial galleries and have a look and go to all these different places. Albemarle Street is near Cork Street and Bond Street, and at the time this was the centre of the contemporary art world in London. And so there are all of these commercial galleries around there. You could just walk up down the road, going to this gallery, that gallery. It's amazing, amazing. I had no idea that you could do that. So that kept me busy for, you know, the next few months at least. So then finally we went to this exhibition, and I just thought, wow, because I saw these paintings and I thought, hang on a second, that is me. That painting like that is me. And I don't know who Frank Auerbach is, but I am him. That's what I do. That's what I had. That's a feeling I had in my head. I couldn't do it, but that's what I should be doing. You know, I was just gone blown away because I was looking at what I was meant to be doing. So I was just completely blown away by this. And this type of painting, this is completely different to, you know, the Mondrian and the Dali. Now the Mondrian, like I've said, I think it's very limited. I don't think it goes any further than that kind of design aspect. Beautifully done though they are, beautifully composed. They are studies in composition. He's taken one aspect of what makes an artwork and he's refined it and refined it and refined it to try and get at the essence of that single part of what the work of art can be. I wanted more than that. And the Dali was different. He presents an image. There's an image there of a world. You can kind of step into it, but then you come back out again because you know, the painting, it's very flat. It's an image of another world. It is not another world. It's an image of another world. And there's a very big difference, which I discovered when looking at this. Again, I'm not sure if this was actually in the exhibition, but it's just as good a picture to show what I'm getting at. This painting is not an image of another world. This painting is part of our world. This painting is an object. It is extant in our world. It just seems so real to me. It wasn't pretending to be anything else. It wasn't trying to be clever or give you an idea of, oh, I've got these thoughts and these ideas. None of that. This was simply saying, this is the world and this is an object that is now in it. I've taken what I could see and I've created another thing in the world with that to show, you know, that I exist, that the world exists, that we all exist. And this was just incredible to me. This was what I thought painting art should be. And this is what I wanted to do. Now I did, of course, go home and do my own Auerbachs, which I don't think were very good. But the point Auerbach's paintings made to me was clear. And I have never stopped, haven't stopped since. Because paint, you know, it's a funny thing. I realised later on when I've actually, you know, spent time thinking about these things, not when I was a 40-year-old kid, but later on, you know, paint is the thing that I love. I wasn't interested in image making. I wasn't interested in art per se. I wasn't interested in being clever about stuff, all psychology and things like Dali, or getting down to like fine details like Mondrian. I didn't want any of that. What I wanted is to create something almost that says, I exist, you know? And paint, I can't tell you how intuitively I feel about paint itself. It's as if I was born understanding, you know, the language of paint without having to learn it. You know, when I started painting the Mondrian, you know, I was just right at home with oil paint. It was just, you know, that was just my thing. And it wasn't like a revelation to me. It was as if, oh, I'd always known. You know, this is what I've been doing since I was born. Which it wasn't, but that's how I felt. And I still thought paint is me. That's what I love more than anything else. And so then you can imagine seeing these paintings, like this Auerbach, you know, the like of which I didn't even know existed, was just amazing. I mean, I was looking at this thing. tremendous mess of paint. I mean, it's just a glorious mess of brush strokes and colours, but it all works. And I thought, wow, I can do it. Look, just like these lines, just like you can see how it's done. You know, you didn't have to get up close to really try and work out how it was done. It's all there. He's not pretending. It's like, you know, this is him. This is him. He's alive. And he can do it. And he's just showing you everything that there is that he can see, and creating a new object in the world that is now part of the world in a way that the Dalis and the Mondrians just never can be. So this really got me going in terms of giving me a direction to head in with my painting, because like I said, I didn't stop since I did the Mondrian in the summer holidays, and this was now the Christmas, the same year. This is what's in the kind of mid 1980s. And you know, since then I haven't stopped. Of course, a lot of things happened after this. Maybe I'll do another short video to tell you a bit about that. But I just wanted to do that to show you where I started, where it all came from, and what really spurred me on to continue and I suppose get to where I am today. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye bye.